Okay, so I did my health policy research paper and my presentation on the elimination of mental health drugs. And as you may know, my name is Tyler Seitz. So basically, here is just my abstract, and I'm not going to go through all of it, but basically, my abstract is basically explaining that a lot of people use psychiatric medications. And a lot of people aren't aware of the negative aspects of what psychiatric medications can cause or may cause in the future. Okay, next slide. So this is basically a recap of mental health in general. I basically said that a lot of people have mental health problems, and a lot of people don't really know how to cope with their mental health problems. I have here that a lot of people just try to basically just go on psychiatric medications because they don't really know basically how to solve their mental health problems. And I also listed a fact, and it says about 1 in 6 people take psychiatric medications in order to help cope with their mental health problems. I think that's a really big number. I think that this is something that needs to be changed, obviously, because that is a huge number of people with mental health problems. And basically at the bottom, I just put a couple mental health problems that a lot of people have: depression, mania, anxiety, dissociative personality disorder, are basically all examples, like I said, of mental health problems that a lot of people have. So here are some other solutions to mental health problems that should be implemented to basically get rid of people using psychiatric medications all the time. I basically put 3 up there. These are like basically the 3 that a lot of people use. And the first one is cognitive behavioral therapy, and this basically is just it's basically it aims to solve problems by using thought or emotion to solve problems, and this can be done with oneself or others. So basically, you're retraining your mind personally by just trying to tell yourself that everything should be positive and you should look at everything in a positive perspective. Electroconvulsive therapy, this is something that is like extremely expensive to do, but it's basically a machine that is attached to your head and connects to new neurons to the brain to reduce mental health problems, because a lot of people have a neurotransmitter problem, like with serotonin in their brains. I know for myself, I know this is something that I have. I've got it tested, and a lot of people that do have mental health problems have this problem. And also counseling. Counseling is basically just a person that basically helps you throughout whatever you're going through, or like whatever your mental health problems are. This is, like I said, this is an extremely effective treatment. A lot of people don't really know that it actually is an effective treatment, and a lot of people do counseling, and they do solve their health problems by this way. This is basically the current state of policy. Like I said, a lot of people are prescribed medication for their mental health disorder, and basically to be prescribed medication, doctors or psychiatrists, they basically question the types of symptoms they have in order to basically diagnose them with whatever mental health problem they have. Like I said, many are aware of the problems psychiatric medications have, yet they still prescribe them. And more people are enforcing other types of solutions instead of prescribing medications by psychiatrists. I already said that. We'll go into further depth of my presentation. Continued, more people are enforcing other types of solutions instead of prescribing medications by psychiatrists. Laws are also being implemented to limit the amount of medication one can get per month. This decreases the likelihood that people will abuse the medication they are prescribed. So basically now, to get a medication, like a prescription, you're limited to how much medication you can actually get per month. I know before that it was basically if you run out, then you can get more and more and more and more. And a lot of people weren't really aware of these problems that occur when somebody just can constantly get medication for whatever they need, whatever their mental health problem is, or even we also mentioned this in class. Basically, the opioid problem. A lot of people, basically distribute or sell opioids or any other types of medications, and that's why they're basically limiting it. And there's other reasons why they're limiting it, but also medications are being prescribed, but one must pay a certain amount for their psychiatric medication. This decreases the consumption of psychiatric medications because some people do not have insurance to pay for their medication. Basically, you have to pay for your psychiatric medication or any other medication because it basically limits how much medication someone can get. I mean, I know like medication can be extremely expensive if one doesn't have insurance, and I know that forehand because I know a couple people that don't have health insurance, and health insurance is very beneficial for a lot of people. And I know that my health insurance covers the medication that I use, and I even looked up how much my medication would be if I did not have health insurance. But either way, if you don't have health insurance, medication can be extremely expensive and therefore decreases the amount of medication someone can use. I'm just gonna say basically some solutions to the problem. Like I said, the first one is we can increase the price of prescription medication. I know that we already have like a policy on, how much we can have or like what the prices are for certain medications, but I also believe that if we increase the price of these medications, with insurance or not, this will definitely decrease the likelihood of someone having these mental or like having all these like problems that are going on like in the world. And the next one is ensure people receive counseling while they're on medication. I think a lot of people there's a lot of people out there that just go on medication and think that like it'll solve everything, and that is not the solution. Counseling is very and has been proven to be very beneficial for a lot of people, and that's not just with if you're not just if you're on medication while you're taking counseling, but just counseling in general. And a lot of people don't really know that. The next one is mandatory prison sentence for those distributing/selling the medication they're prescribed. I think this would be a very good solution because a lot of people sell their medication and they think that it's okay, and it's really not, because it's against the law. And sometimes these laws that are implemented aren't really how they should be. I feel as if we make more strict laws on the people who are caught distributing their medication or doing whatever with it and giving it to other people, I think the law should be more serious, just to ensure that these problems don't happen. And also another solution that I put was lower the amount of medication one can be prescribed. So I know there's a lot of medications out there that solve a lot of mental health problems. If you have basically like, say you have like a personality disorder or like you have anxiety and depression, there's a lot of medications out there that cure both at the same time. And I feel as if there should be a limit on amount of medication one can be prescribed, because there's just a lot of what do you call it? There's just that I just feel like it's pointless, because there's all these medications that people have that solve all of these problems at the same time. I know so there's a lot of medications that are for depression and anxiety. I feel as if you don't need to be prescribed 2 medications if one of those medications solves both of the problems. And I feel, I don't know, but I still strongly believe that there should really only be 1 or 2 medications that should be prescribed for someone with a mental health disorder, just to ensure that a lot of medication isn't being prescribed and is not the only solution to the problems. Um, there obviously there can be some problems to the solutions that I listed in the last slideshow. Increased crime rate. Um, I think I think that this would be a problem because like if we do implement mandatory prison sentences or stricter fines or for whoever is selling or distributing whatever their medication, I feel as if prison rates go up, a lot of people would be getting in trouble, and I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people personally that sell their medication or just do whatever with it or give it to somebody that feels that they actually need it, and I don't think that's right at all. This is basically, I feel like this would increase the diagnosis or likelihood of mental health problems. Honestly, I think, I'm trying to think why I put that up there. I think I was trying to just say that, I forget, but I'll go on to the next thing that I said, and I said many cannot rely on therapy combined with psychiatric medication. I know a lot of people don't really like therapy because they don't feel as if this is like a solution, because they feel like that the only thing that they need is basically psychiatric medication, which, like I said, is not the case. Also, if we get rid of a lot of medication, people can use other toxic substances in replace of these psychiatric medications. So, for example, say you're on an antidepressant and you get taken off of it because we ban the limit of consumption of mental health medications. This could be a problem because they could think that they could rely on other coping mechanisms, such as alcohol or other uppers, other drugs. I'm not really going to get into the drugs, but they could definitely think that this is what they need in order to solve their problems, but this is not true. Like I said, that could be a problem. This would be a major profit loss for drug companies and pharmacies. So basically, if we do implement these policies that make sure there's a limit of consumption of mental health drugs, this could be a big problem for distributors at like pharmacies and stuff like that, like CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens. Since they can't sell these medications, they can't really make a profit, and I know for a fact that they make a gigantic profit off of selling medications in like drive-thrus or the pharmacies and stuff like that. And also drug companies would lose a lot of money. I mean, drugs they solve problems, but I feel like there should definitely be other ways to solve these problems. But these are just the problems of if we did implement these solutions that banned or limited the consumption of mental health drugs. And here's my conclusion. I said mental health is a huge problem in the world. There are many coping mechanisms that may improve a person with a mental health disorder. However, many stick to medication to solve their problems. Since many only use psychiatric medications, this raises many problems for the users as well as other people. In order to solve these problems, there can be certain laws and regulations that can have a detrimental yet positive impact on the world. If these laws are implemented, this will affect the users as well as the community about other ways to solve their mental health problems. Basically, I feel as if more people are relying on medication, they will not be aware of other solutions to solve their mental health problems, and I feel like that's a big thing. Drugs are not the only way to solve your problems. They may help, they may cope, but they cannot solely solve your problems, and a lot of people don't really know that. There's a big stigma on this. But that's just what I personally believe, and I feel like a lot of people agree with me. And I also said, despite the idea that these laws would solve some problems, there is some backlash that comes with these solutions. Regardless, if the government implemented some laws, it would slowly improve one's awareness of how to solve their mental health problems, and possibly change how we see to solve our problems, like I said. But I think that is it for me. And here's my references. I will send you the slideshow if you'd like, but that is it. Thank you.